everybody, and welcome to the only show on YouTube gauged in both kilometers per hour and percentage of alcohol. It's PubChat.
It's 3 beers per hour.
What's happening? How's it going? Is it a good weekend, a bad weekend? Are you looking forward? Are you looking back? Who knows?
I'm looking in the bin. I don't know. I tell you what, I'm looking at my recommendations down the side of the actual stream, and there's a thumbnail on it. Rick Ukrainian is live with Dick Dawson. How the fuck do you do that? How many of them are you?
Yeah. Well, I'm actually quadruplets, right? So there's 4 of me, which means 50% of me right now is drinking. 25% of me is with Rick, and 25 is here.
I always said you were a bit two-faced, but I didn't realize the other side was doing a stream.
yeah.
There's a camera pointing back of your head.
I'm my own content farm.
You just farm all to the Chinese, don't you?
Yeah. Well,
bit of AI. Yeah, that's all right.
If I took off my mask, actually.
Talking of which, have you seen the trailer for the new Naked Gun movie?
No, I didn't know there was one. Wow.
Yeah, it's got Liam Neeson playing Frank Drebin Jr.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So who stole his daughter?
Well, there's a scene where at the beginning where the police are all surrounding this bank, right? And there's this little girl with a lollipop, sort of like, strolling past the police cordon, goes into the bank, and they're going, "Hey, little girl, stop!" And you see this little girl walk towards the bank robbers. They're coming out with their shotguns. Go, "Yeah, what are you doing here, little girl?" And then the little girl just like peels off a rubber mask, like Mission Impossible. And there's Liam Neeson on the other side of it. Goes, "I'm here to kick your ass." And then he just like rises to his full height, still wearing the tiny little schoolgirl's mini skirts.
His pecker starts peeking out, but that's all right.
Yeah. He does this great shot at the end. Can't remember what the line was, but he's standing there with his, he's got one leg on the ground and another leg up in the chair, and he's just got the little skirt on. You see little pink knickers on underneath.
This is real.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
There's another bit of the trailer where you see Frank Drebin Jr. talking to like a portrait, of Leslie Nielsen, and saying, "Oh yeah, miss you, Dad. And then you see a long line of other cops talking to their portraits of their dads, all crying, and then it cuts to a shot of O.J. Simpson, and just some black bloke he just looks to camera and just shakes his head.
Oh, that's funny. I see when you said the little girl in the beginning, I was expecting him to like turn to the camera and go, "Oh, not another little girl story" or something,
Yeah, I'm quite curious about this because there hasn't been a decent comedy movie for years.
And he should be able to do the dry deadpan.
Oh, he's brilliant at it,
right? Because that's what he does. I mean,
Yeah. If you ever saw, what was it? Was it Life Was Too Short? With Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant and Warwick Davis, but Liam Neeson keeps coming into their office with ideas and stuff, and he's just so good at this like dry humor, and if anything, he was built for this role.
Yeah.
I mean, because after all the action movies that he's been doing in the past few years, this is a great breakout for him, just to do something completely different.
Yeah.
And idiotic.
Yeah. Liam, we got a great idea for a movie. 10 million and a gun. All right.
Yeah. And your daughter's been captured.
Yeah. Like I think he went into a green screen studio and just posed looking all mad for like an hour, and they
Yeah.
just simply made movie posters out of that one day of his life for like the last 10 years.
Are you kidding? That they just used all those frames and just made movies behind him?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the script? I don't know. We'll just all use these green screen action poses
Yeah, exactly.
and just put a
Yeah.
movie in around him.
Yeah, use an AI to make it move. That's all.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, I saw something recently on YouTube, and somebody was going on about the recent Liam Neeson movies, and he was like, "Look, every movie poster is essentially the same thing."
Mm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
funny.
it's funny. It's funny that it's because I remember when he started doing action movies, and I thought, God, he would make a great Bond. If they were
Oh
going to do
yeah,
a Bond, he'd be
yeah,
a great. But he's too old for it now, obviously. But that's essentially what he ended up doing.
yeah,
After he did one action movie, they all go, "Oh, yeah, action movie guy. Okay, never
yeah,
thought of that. Okay, old man, here's some more scripts."
yeah. It turns out he can deliver a one-liner while snarling through blood on his lip, holding a gun. Perfect. Here we go. Right.
Mm.
I find so many of these, somebody was kidnapped and he's out for revenge type movies are just slightly more serious versions of the Arnie movies and so on. It's like, please give us a different script. You're just
Yeah,
rewriting the same thing over and over.
yeah. Yeah, they're usually like a retired lone wolf cop
Yeah,
type thing, or an investigator, or someone who worked in the
yeah,
civil CIA
yeah.
or something.
Dragged back to action because they targeted his family, or it's always the same, give me um oh, what's that Arnie movie where they have the fight on the jet and everything, and he is where
Yeah,
he
you're still not narrowing it down much.
um Jamie Lee Curtis is in it. She doesn't realize
Oh,
he's a
yeah,
spy, and
yes, True Lies.
yeah. Give me
Mhm.
something somewhat original,
Yeah, True Lies was a
Try.
great. True Lies was a great movie.
Totally, man. That was awesome.
Mm,
That was a fun ride.
yeah, and very complicated.
Yeah. It was great, very much. I'm gonna have to get up in a second. This one's getting low already.
Oh dear me.
Yeah. I started before we started. So what are you gonna do? Right. It is still number one though. So I'll be good for a bit yet.
Still number one. You've gone through the first still.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's the first sack of beer.
Yeah.
Right. So,
I got another vat of moonshine to get onto next.
yeah. Oh yeah. Why bother getting glasses if you're going to be drinking shine, right? I should have just let myself go blind. Give me 1 second here. I'll get a refill now, so it's over with.
Yeah. Go on, run, rabbit, run. Yeah. Well, I won't start yabbing around that something until he comes back. I suppose. Filling that dead air with just me saying, "Oh, look, we'll wait." And there he is. See, there's no dead air. Didn't say anything, but
Oh, that's the key, right? Yeah.
Well,
babble and say nothing.
Just don't want the conversation to dry up, even if there wasn't one.
Yeah.
Just the ramblings of two old men.
Yeah. Well, today 1 3/4. I'm a little sore and stiff today.
Oh, ooh.
Easy now, but yeah, I gotta after my son's birthday, which is coming up. So all funds are focused on my son right now. But after that, I gotta get this chair of mine replaced. It's too old and worn out. It's not working.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, mine's busted as well now. God.
There's always something in life that needs that financial attention, drives you nuts. You know, I wish it wasn't that long ago where old people could just go, I don't need a new washer. Mine works fine. I don't need a new dishwasher. Mine works fine, and so on. And they could just keep these things forever and they would be no problem. It doesn't work that way for us because everything we buy now is junk that's engineered to die in 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, we don't get that anymore. They all got that. We don't.
I mean, my problems with the fridge, and I ended up repairing some of it. And one of the repairs I did on the ice maker is given up already.
Oh, no.
It was just a structural thing. But so even the wife was saying, "Oh, we should just get a new one." There's actually nothing wrong with it apart from some of the bits that don't work.
Yeah.
It was a Maytag, so it was a bloody expensive fridge when we got it. But we've had it for 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad.
Yeah, well,
it's still going.
But right. But go back in time, and Maytag famously had those ads with the guy from WKRP in Cincinnati who would always just sitting around doing nothing because you never needed a repairman, right? That's not the case anymore. You with the thing, I just need this plastic bit that eventually failed. Well, they're using crappy plastics with heat cold cycles, get brittle and break, and then they don't put them up for replacement. I mean, back in even the 80s, that thing would have been made out of metal or something, and it would be fine right now,
Yeah.
In cars, it drives me crazy. The intake plenum in your car is plastic now. The sides of your radiator are plastic, rad, whatever, it's unbelievable. There's no way that's going to last.
Yeah, the girlfriend's boobs are plastic.
A form of.
and half a face.
Yeah. And sugar daddy's pecker too. So, Very much. I remember a time in the 70s when there was that transition and credit cards and stuff were coming on strong, and it used to be called plastic money, but nobody makes that reference anymore, Yeah.
It's like this thing we got with our washing machine, and it's driving my wife potty because it ruins all her white tops or bed sheets or anything like that. Right. You keep getting these black marks, after it's done, and it's spotless, it's clean inside. The rubber seal or replaced all that, so that's all clean and new and everything. But every now and then, she'll pull something out and it's going, "Oh, I broke my fucking top again."
Wow.
Funny thing. And it's like, well, get a new. Well, it works. There's nothing wrong with it apart from this. And I can't. It just seems ridiculous to buy a whole new washing machine because it's leaving marks and can't figure out why.
If I had to guess, a seal that is greased or lubricated is starting to fail, and every so often something like that is happening.
Yeah, right? I know. That's what I keep looking for, but
you'd have to strip it completely to look and figure it out. Oh yeah, that'd be a pain, but you'd get to play with lube.
I've forgotten what to do with that.
I want to get to the point where we have replicators on Star Trek, matter resequencers, because when you have your dishes and they're dirty at the end, you just simply have them disappear.
Reassembled.
And when you need new ones, you just get them. Right? That would be awesome. You need some new clothes. You don't have to worry about what you do with the old ones. You just put them in the machine and it takes that matter and reuses it.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think maybe just washing it with a bit of water might be a little bit simpler.
Yeah, but why use the water if you don't have to, right?
Well, you replicate the water, obviously.
Yeah, I took a dump today and I'm using it to wash my dishes. Ain't modern life amazing?
The whole Star Trek replicator thing, it's one of those sort of things that once you start to use it, like a storyline situation, you suddenly realize that you don't need anything else.
I know.
You don't need to. When the starship has a problem and something fails, why do they fix it? Well, just replicate a new one. Or the same with the transporter technology. Well, Mr. Spock, he's too busy somewhere else. Well, it's all right. We've got him in the buffers. We'll just create another one.
Yeah. Or
and we'll have two Mr. Spocks.
With the transporter. Oh, I've got a nasty virus. Here, we'll just beam you and remove the virus. Right? Done.
Yeah. Yeah, because there have been like storylines where they beam somebody on board and they go through a biological biofilter. Yeah.
Which is something I have for an aquarium.
But it's kind of funny because you are a bioorganism. So what would Chris come through? It's just a pile of clothes and a phaser.
Yeah, exactly. Communicator pin.
Yeah. But even with this biofilter, people still can come on with diseases and all sorts of shit,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Oh, speaking of which, okay, so I recently added to my Plex server, the Shills Plex server, Star Trek Enterprise, Scott Bakula's show, right?
Uh-huh.
And overall, I liked it better the second time around than I did the first, especially because with Plex, there's a button that says skip intro, and I didn't have to hear that fucking song. Right?
It's been a long road.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Oh.
Getting from there to here.
Some Rod Stewart wannabe.
It's been a long time.
Oh, it's awful.
My time is finally.
Love it. But and for the most part, I really enjoyed the show. And in my mind's eye, my memory or whatever, I remember the last episode having a little bit of Riker and Troy from The Next Generation in it. And I thought it was like cool. I didn't mind. I remember a bunch of people bitched. Watching it this time, I must have been like in the kitchen making sandwich and stuff during watching that first episode, because now that I rewatched it, it was almost unbearable. The way that they literally turned the last episode of Enterprise into a Star Trek The Next Generation episode that fit in with Riker and the Pegasus. It was so stupid.
Yeah. Hated it.
Yeah, it was.
Didn't see any reason for it.
It was so bad. And like the top comment on IMDb, this was an atrocious ending to this show and such a disservice to the characters and the actors and stuff. And it was, because they had Riker pretending to be the chef you never saw on Enterprise finally being it. And the whole episode is just Riker. And you're just like, for fuck's sakes, you had your turn. Get the fuck out of here,
Yeah, I wonder if he directed it.
Probably. I know LeVar Burton directed a bunch, and surprisingly, they weren't just sappy wah episodes.
I like this Enterprise, but and I'm glad you get me to direct the last episode. But I've been looking through the script, and one thing I noticed: there's not enough of me in it.
Very much. Yeah, very much.
I've made some notes.
Yeah. But I did enjoy the show. It was worth rewatching. That was cool. I'm not sure I can do a rewatch of Deep Space Nine. I'm considering it. Haven't seen it since it first came out, but I remember being very like, oh, you are of Bajor. You're the whatever they kept saying to the commander. You're the, what was it? I can't remember. He was something to their religion in the first season, and they just wouldn't shut up about it. And finally, after that season, the emissary, you're the emissary. And finally, when that story arc died after the first season, Deep Space Nine went somewhere and was far more entertaining. But that first season was just so, oh, you're the emissary. Shut up. Who cares? Get on with it. You know?
I never really liked Deep Space Nine at all, really.
Yeah. The first season was hard to watch.
There's one episode I do really like, and that's the one where they go back to the the station.
Yeah, that's one of the best episodes of Star Trek, period, man. That was amazing.
So nicely done.
Yeah.
So nicely done.
I was blown away by that when I first watched it, how well it was done. Yeah, and there was Quark. He was great, like Mexi Girl says. And there was Garrick. I liked Garrick too. But yeah, you know.
Yeah, I didn't like Quark that much because they seem to like cleansed his Ferenginess quite a bit. He was very, very much like another part of the human crew, but just
he was
big
like
ears.
A reformed mobster that still dipped his toes in the water.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah, because
they ended up making the Ferengi kind of like a comical character.
If you go back to their first appearance in Next Generation, and they were not comical. Well, a little bit, but they were, mean, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was the intention.
Yeah, they were kind of like Klingons in the beginning, and it just didn't sell.
No, it was kind of stupid with their little whips.
Yeah, their little whips. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Looked like they were little S&M demons, right?
What are those ears?
Yeah.
Well, the other thing about Deep Space Nine that always really annoyed me is because obviously that they always made that comparison to Babylon 5, and
didn't watch that.
I always thought that Babylon 5 was a way superior space station show. I mean, the visual effects didn't hold up too well after all these years, but as far as storylines was concerned, I much prefer Babylon 5.
Yeah, I've never given it a chance. One day I will.
Think if Starsky was here, I think he would agree.
Yeah, probably.
Because he's a big fan.
Oh, is he? Is he?
Yeah. Do you not remember us having discussions about who's the best commander of Babylon 5?
Probably zoned out because I'd never seen it, right? Yeah. I don't know. The time that Babylon 5 was on TV, I just wasn't watching much TV. It wasn't the show. I just wasn't,
Yeah. And if you were going to do like a catch up, again, it's one of those sort of thing where there's a lot of episodes. You can't jump into it lightly.
Yeah, it's not a modern 10 episode a season quick binge watch, right?
Yeah.
You're looking at committing a summer to it or something, and even then you're not getting out much. Was it 8 seasons or something? 7 seasons or something?
Don't know. But Mexi Girl brings up Farscape as well. She says that was pretty fun. But again, that's another thing. If you haven't seen it, that's a lot of episodes.
Is there?
It's kind of weird, some of it, actually.
I haven't seen that one either.
Yeah. Still not as weird as Lex. No, that's got to be
that either.
No, of course you haven't. That's got to be one of the weirdest things out there.
That's that whole era where I was just doing other things, We didn't watch a lot of TV in the rehearsal space and stuff, and that wasn't happening.
No, it'd have been a bit distracting, I'd have thought.
Yeah. Didn't suit the party atmosphere. And
so you never found out who shot JR or who JR was?
Oh, it was Homer's daughter. It was the baby. It was Maggie. That's it, Maggie. Maggie shot JR.
Oh dear.
No, but I was watching more TV during the Who Shot JR era than I was, when Lex and those ones were on TV.
Yes, I suppose that is a bit earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. The 70s, I was young, right? In early, watch some TV.
You would have been into the Colbys. What was the Dallas spin-off?
I,
there was one on a fucking cul-de-sac. And it was like a
no,
spin-off.
I wasn't.
Dallas.
I wasn't watching those shows, but I remember Who Shot JR. It was just massive,
Yeah.
right? But I didn't watch Dallas or whatever it was. That wasn't my stuff. I was into more like Remington Steele or a Simon and Simon or SWAT, The Streets of San Francisco, shows like that.
Yeah. But the funny thing is about Dallas, I mean, it was a huge success, and a lot of people watched it,
Oh, yeah.
loved it, and they were all talking about it. But when you go back and think about it, it was just like business suits walking around and just shouting at each other.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was like
nothing happened.
it was wrestling without the outfits, right?
Yeah, unless you were Sue Ellen and all the ladies all glammed up and getting beaten by their husbands and sitting out having breakfast in winds of 100 mile an hour on the ranch.
Yeah.
I can't remember what happened in it.
There was all those different shows that were like it, but that happens time after time. You get into the doctor thing, and then there's like firefighters and police and stuff, and it all just keeps cycling because they're scared of not having a hit, right? So they just keep giving us the same thing over and over with a bit more smut added.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to have NYPD Blue or whatever coming up soon, and Sipowicz will be giving blowjobs in the locker room or whatever this time, right?
Yeah. Oh, NSI. Oh, which town should we set it in this season?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My gosh, there's so many of those shows. Yeah. The original V was a good series, Mexi Girl. Yeah, I remember that very fondly. For sure.
Yeah. But again, it wasn't really that great. We just remember it as great.
Yeah. I haven't seen it in years. I would have no idea. I can barely even remember a scene of it. It's just when I hear it, I go, yes, I like that, right? A funny one is The Greatest American Hero. Remember that show with the guy being all funny because he doesn't know how to operate the super suit?
No, but you've told me about it a few times, and I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's a really good show. But go back and watch the first 2-hour movie. I don't know if it was in the theaters, but it was on TV. It was the big first episode. And it's not funny, really. It's quite serious. But then the show keeps going and there's all kinds of comical moments and whatnot. There was some weird switch between filming the big 2-hour pilot and then doing the show.
Right.
Yeah. They decided to lighten up or whatever, maybe a new director. I don't really know what happened, right? But I noticed it big time.
They did that with Lost in Space as well. When that first came out, it was like a real serious science fiction. And then, few series down the line, it's, oh, robot, help me. Oh, danger. Yeah.
Destroy human. Yeah, totally. The Lost in Space, the remake that was done, 8-9 years ago, whatever it is now, maybe 7 years ago.
The Netflix series, yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they played it well when the kid had a growth spurt because there was, little issues and stuff with COVID and everything. They just did a full 1 year later because what are you going to do, right? Yeah.
They didn't have him have some kind of like growth virus.
Yeah, and they didn't try to just pretend it didn't happen. All of a sudden he's as tall as his mother. But yeah, it was good. Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot.
Funny, I was there was adverts the other day for like a new series of Doctor Who coming on, and it's like, ugh.
Isn't he a lizard person this time, but he identifies as a spaghetti monster?
Yeah, something like that. He's black and gay, and all, it's just like everything you can throw at it is put in there. But yeah, no, a lot of people, it's just tired. I think everyone's tired of Doctor Who. But I was thinking about that because that's what happened the first time round. Because I think there's a problem inherent into Doctor Who, because which was genius at the time, where he could what was
I'm
it?
a different actor. Yeah.
Transform, or what do they call it? Regenerate. So he regenerates into a new actor.
Okay.
So that, they did that. They did that in the first series, years and years and years ago in the 60s. And of course he regenerated several times. And by like the 8th iteration of the Doctor, and he ended up with something like God, what was his name? Can't remember the name of the last one who did it. It was on the tip of my tongue.
It must be a small little guy then.
Sylvester McCoy. Thank you, PJ. Yeah, okay. Sylvester McCoy, and no one was watching it anymore. And some of the stories had become silly, like he was like fighting a Bertie Bassett man, made from like licorice, all sorts, and weird fucking stories.
Stupid. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, of course it's stupid. Of course it's stupid. But I think one of the problem is, people got, it's the same like your Bond. That's my Bond, or that's my, well, that's because people will say that's my Doctor, the Doctor I grew up with.
Yeah,
and when you keep changing the actor, you can't like lose interest in it. And I think we're having a same.
Bond itself is in this dilemma right now because Daniel Craig really became the face of the reboot, and now to replace him in modern days versus doing it back then is proving to be far more difficult for the studio to feel secure in. Yeah,
but I'm just going to bring it back to the Doctor again, because after the David Tennant period. Who was the guy?
Everybody really liked Tennant, didn't they?
Yeah. And the next one was all right. I can't remember his name either, but the next one was all right. But there's been a serious decline in likitude of Doctor Who, and I think the same problem's happening again with this reboot that they had with the first time. It just people get bored of this, trying to come up with a new Doctor that interests people.
Yeah.
And people just, it's not my Doctor anymore, so they don't watch it. Yeah.
There's one thing about that. If you want to change the fundamental part of the Doctor as it means to the core viewers of the property, the intellectual property, whatever you want to call it, right? The franchise, whatever. I would say to people that are trying to be more inclusive and more variety of people being represented, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but core fans do get a little touchy about going too far with their things. So why not expand the Doctor universe and show us another one doing things? Or you know what I mean? It's the same thing in other areas. You got the Green Lantern, but you got the whole Green Lantern Corps. I mean, you could really take that far and really be, I think that's the more acceptable way to the fan base to do this kind of thing. And I'm not saying the core fan base are racist, intolerant assholes. Don't get the wrong idea here, but
no, just some of them.
Yeah. No, but in truth, it's just, take the female-led Ghostbuster movie versus what they're doing with Ghostbusters now. The little nerdy girl is the Egon relative, and they're building a new thing around that, and it's working great. But the McCarthy movie or whatever did not go over well. And so, like me, myself, in the modern day of franchises, if you're looking at Ghostbusters, I would have gone to a place where they have teams in different cities and stuff. And then you could have like a Avengers type, ensemble cast every 6 movies or something or whatever. But I think that's the way to do it.
But you make it sound like it's a YouTube channel and you got to keep pumping out content. Sometimes I just thought you just got to let the series go.
I agree that that's actually the real answer, and just come up with new things. But we know that they're not going to, because they're scared. They want everything to be a moneymaker. So if they're going to do that, do the Marvel thing or whatever and expand the universe. Don't just keep fucking with shit. You know, slow down a bit, let people enjoy, and then, oh, there's a new one. Great. And now everybody gets excited, and it's the better way to go, I think. Anyway,
well, in the first run of Doctor Who, after the Sylvester McCoy years, they stopped it. Terry Nation went on to write Blake 7. Completely different series. A space series, completely different. That ran for like another 8 years or whatever. So they just killed off a series. Just come up with a different series.
I thought it was been running the whole time. I didn't realize there was a dead zone.
Oh God, yeah. Well, Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Years and years and years and years.
Oh, I thought it was the whole time. Right, because I remember I saw a torrent in one of my things, the Doctor Who complete up until 2023 or whatever it was, and I was like, "Oh my lord, that's got to be 50 years worth of episodes! Holy man!"
Yeah. Yeah, what is it? I can't remember when Sylvester McCoy was doing his stuff, but that must have been like late 80s, maybe. Early 90s, but they cancelled Doctor Who, much to the chagrin of the British public, who nobody was watching it, but so I don't know what they were complaining about. And they didn't come back for
they canceled it because nobody was watching, and then everybody bitches because it's gone. Well,
they tried to make a movie, like a really exciting one. It was like a one-off with Paul McGann playing the Doctor, and it was in America and all that kind of stuff. So they were trying to build it for an American audience. Didn't go down very well. It wasn't particularly very good. He was a good Doctor, but the show wasn't particularly very good. But I think they were hoping for it to kick off in America instead.
I had a question about television licenses and a strange thing, but I just need to refresh. Give me 1 second here.
Has he got the TV detector van people outside of his house knocking on the window? You haven't got a television in there, have you, Mr. Dawson?
All right. So let's say I buy myself a super cool new fancy luxury car, and it's got streaming services to the TVs in the back and all that stuff. Do you have to pay a license on those ones? Because they are showing you entertainment, not just vehicle functions and whatnot. How does that work?
In the UK?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you guys have like a smartwatch and it can play a video, you got to pay for that, don't you?
No. If it play, what it is, if you can receive live transmissions,
so it has to have like digital TV receivership in the device.
Yeah.
So you don't pay a TV license for a computer screen and a computer connected to the internet?
No, but I think you still get into troubles if you like watch like a BBC
iPlayer
live on YouTube. Oh, definitely on iPlayer you got to have a license. Yeah.
So if you put iPlayer on the screen in your car, technically you should have a license for that screen.
Well, if you got one at home, I suppose it transfers. But yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah, you'd have to have a license.
Interesting.
Never thought about it like that before. Yeah, but they have a hell of a job catching you, though.
For those that think the idea is silly, think about this. The licensing enables the BBC to be completely and utterly impartial and require no commercials and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's the intention behind it.
Yeah, and our CBC in Canada has some ads and whatnot because it's not completely government funded. They do need to actually churn some viewership into profit as well. Yeah. And if I ended up having to pay, $8 or $10 a year or $20 a year or whatever, in order to make sure that we have a purely funded, not just like PBS in America that shows some fat guy that needs to shave doing yoga every now and then and so on, but real TV, you know what I mean? I would think it's worth it, to be honest, as long as it doesn't become some rusky state media broadcasting bullshit for either side of an argument. It's got to be impartial,
can't remember how much it is. It's probably like a couple of £100
a year.
A year.
Oh, I thought it was like $50 or something.
No, well, it's for black and white TVs. I think they got rid of that because no one has black and white TVs anymore.
$39.99 if you're using one of those handheld TVs from Space 1999 because they're small.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit like YouTube. You know, you can pay extra to not get the adverts. And Amazon do the same thing. You pay extra to not get the adverts. But you know, well, the BBC, you know, obviously you don't have the option. You know, they're not building that into the broadcast that if you've got the license, you don't get the adverts.
Yeah.
That might be a bit tricky to do, but
and the one thing I really liked, like when Top Gear was on BBC. The fact, I don't know how it works, but somehow BBC gets to use all this amazing music without it costing an absolute fortune, right? You could totally see it when Top Gear became the Grand Tour because the music in the show went down at least 200% in how cool it was.
Yeah, well, they had to pay for it.
Yeah. It took forever, and they finally spent the money and used the damn A-Team theme again for let's hit the garage and cue the music, right? You know, that was awesome.
Yeah, because they paid for the license once, so they can get away with it, using it again.
Yeah. But I love the fact that the way the BBC gets to do that, you know.
Oh, I tell you what, talking to Top Gear, I came across the other day on YouTube, Top Gear, episode 1.
Like the original Top Gear.
The first ever Top Gear.
Wow.
And oh my God, it's dull as dishwater.
Oh, I know.
It's amazing. I mean,
the speed controls don't take too much effort with your legs, and you can slide it back and forth rather easily.
No, there's none of that. There's no reviews of cars. They're barely talking about cars. You got Valerie Singleton, who was not Valerie Singleton. Who was the bloody newsreader with the long legs? Can't remember her name. Anyway, they've got a BBC newsreader doing a bit, which is like the first 10 minutes, and she's talking about she does lots of driving, for real work.
Morris Minor will be released next week. And
no, she had a Ford Capri.
Oh, okay.
No, she barely talk about cars and what cars she likes or anything like that. She was talking about women drivers and people's perceptions of women drivers and
wow,
wrong. Because she just blathered on for 10 minutes, and then you got some coppers talking about how they catch people speeding. Now they do this by driving along a road, finding a lamppost, and then you flick a switch on the console and you keep driving till you hit another landmark, which might be another lamppost, and then you flip another switch, and that's put it now into the computer. You then park up, and as people drive past these two markers, you press a button to start it, then you flick the switch to when they've gone past the second marker, and the computer calculates the drive.
God.
It's like, really?
Can't you just drive at an equal pace to them and look at the fucking dashboard that's right in front of you and go, look at that, they're doing 70 miles an hour. We better get them. Well,
it's like by the time the computer calculated the speed, they've buggered off.
They're bits. I mean,
it was so lame. Oh, and just people just talking to ministers about roundabouts or something. There is so little in it. This show, I'll have to find it and send you the link. There is so little in it that's actually recognizable as to what Top Gear was like. And right at the end, the lady newsreader is right back at the beginning, right from the start. She's at the end, basically saying, "Well, if anyone's got any suggestions of what we can talk about on the show, please send it in on a postcard." So, your show, you don't even know what you want to talk about.
Yeah. We only scripted one, so
let's not talk about women drivers for 10 minutes again, shall we? From the woman's perspective.
Crazy.
It's nuts.
I've seen Top Gear from before the Clarkson era, but
Yeah.
when he was on the show, and you could see him injecting his personality and attitude into it even back then, but it's nothing compared to what it became, right?
No. I tell you what, there's one thing. There's one thing in that first episode that you will see in all the other episodes, and that's the theme music. Yeah. So that's the one thing.
But in the original one, they play the real theme, the real song, Jessica.
Yeah.
They don't have that new theme, right?
No, they don't have a version of it. No, not yet. No, it's the original.
Yeah. It's funny though, if you go back to even Clarkson's reboot of Top Gear, the first couple of seasons or series, as you guys say, aren't what the show became. They're a weird cross between the old show and what he was trying to achieve with it.
Mm.
You know, especially with that Jason Dawes or Daw guy that was James May for the first series. And they would do like tips on buying used cars. And his segment was terrible. They got rid of it pretty quick.
Yeah, I can't remember much of that era.
Yeah. The only thing that guy ever did that was funny is try to race somebody on a bicycle because he was pretty big and hefty and he was on foot. That was the only thing. Yeah. Yeah, it's when they started doing the specials, like everybody in the live chat starting to say now, you know. It starts, if you go back, it starts with a couple of cheap car challenges like the $1,500 Porsches and the $10,000 for our Italian sports cars and a few of those, but they were still interrupted by the guest segment. But then when they took it further and started with Botswana and Bolivia and all that, that's where the show really shines.
Doing the full on just specials. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Botswana is the first true one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And one of their favorites as well.
It has to be because that was the first time that they actually had the BBC go, okay, look, we're going to spend and you guys get to go and do a thing, right? You know,
I also think it's one of the because it's the first one. It's the
most
one
organic.
where or more real as well, where they don't like script in gags and in stuff like that.
Yeah, but even still, right in the beginning, there's some real scripted stuff. Like James May says, "I think we're on the equator," and Richard says, "No, you'd see it. It's a big dotted line."
Yeah. No,
right?
That's a gag. I'm talking about when they ended up writing entire kind of like episodes that happened within the trip, where silly things happen.
Yeah,
and they just manufacture,
because
parts of it.
Like in the one we're talking about there, they did I'm getting them mixed up in my head now, to be honest. I'm realizing this right now. That happens, I've watched all those a few too many times, I think, but the specials are definitely the thing. I like them right up to the end.
Yeah, apparently there's talk of them coming back.
Who needs the money? That's funny.
Jeremy's building a track out on the farm because he's not making money on farming, so he's just going to build a track out there.
Yeah.
Like a 4-wheel drive adventure park.
The only person on that farm that's doing well is Caleb, the guy that knows what he's doing, right? The crazy dude with the haircuts. He's funny. One day he's sitting there in the tractor and he's doing a farming rap. I couldn't believe it. That was hilarious. Oh man. So what else is happening in the world?
In the world? Oh, ain't looking. Hey, we had a bit of excitement the other day. Yesterday.
What happened?
There was a police van like parked across the road from us. Just like
the old man in his underwear finally get taken away.
It was just like parked in the middle of a junction. Like people were like squeezing past him to go, left and right and all this kind of stuff. He was kind of like sort of stopping them, but then not stopping.
Everybody's like, "Excuse me, but I need to get through."
but the thing is, he was kind of like blocking the road, but not in an official capacity. He just seemed to be like sat there. He's like,
really?
Is he fucking broken down or something? No, and he was like pointing some people in some direction, pointing something, but he was letting some through, not others through. He was talking to some people and other people he was just ignoring. I thought, what the fuck is going on? So I ended up like going out and going down past that, and all the road was blocked at another part of the road, and the entire village seemed to be like blocked off by police. There was police, blocking off the roads, entrances all over the place. What the fuck is going on?
They're blocking all the roads, but they're letting people. That's so weird.
It really did not make any sense. And even when we found out what was going on, it didn't make any sense either. But because my son Cameron, he was out there, and he said, because we have a very large gypsy community around here, and I know you like talking about the gypsies. It's your favorite subject. But I learned
more about gypsies from Ronnie James Dio and his music than I knew from school growing up.
you just come and live around here, you'll soon find out. But one of the things they do in the community around here is they have these kind of like pony and trap type things. They're like they're almost like a racing chariot type things. They're just sitting and horses pulling them along. So you get a lot of them around here. And apparently what was happening is they were out en masse yesterday and causing commotion left, right, and center.
30, or is that like a lot?
I have no idea. And I think the only reason, because Cameron said he saw one coming down the road, and it saw the police van, and it kind of like pulled on the brakes and turned around, went the other way. And but yeah,
it's like the Russian military coming up against a tank, right?
But why they had closed off a village, I don't know. Whether they're all just like coming, from one of the communities down in deep inside the village, off the streets, and these pony and traps were coming out. I don't know, but they're not illegal. I don't know. I don't know what the problem was.
Just because
just because there was a large number of them or something. I don't understand. I still don't understand,
Excuse
even though
me,
I know what it is.
Are you riding that donkey, or do you live on it? That's
very strange.
Yeah. See, we just call them homeless, but
no. They got a home. It rolls.
Yeah. Actually, we have nomads that show up and go from one part of our country to another, and then just kind of disappear. They're Australians. You can tell because they have backpacks.
I thought you were going to say that they're like Cherokees looking for the buffalo. Hey, white man, you've seen buffalo right through here.
You do that hitchhiking on the highway now.
Yeah, bloody Australians.
Yeah. Well, in my area, we have a lot of like orchards and vineyards, and the Australians, in the gap year after high school, but before university or college, whatever, they love coming over here and working in our valley. And they just live for free. You live on the orchard, and you get paid daily for however much work you're able to produce in picking fruit from trees or vines or something. And then you go to the beach and get drunk afterwards. And we're surrounded by beaches. It's a beautiful place to be. So they spend the whole summer here, and you just go from the south and work up the valley to the north as the trees and everything ripen. And then they bugger off at the end of the season and go and do whatever they do, right?
Yeah. No, I think that's a great thing to encourage. Great adventure. as a young person.
And the ones that show up here are very athletic. They like going rock
Yeah.
climbing and all that shit because we're in a valley
Yeah.
and I'm in the Rockies and everything. They love this stuff. And they can show up in a good cherry orchard and make $350, $400 in a day. Just done.
Yeah.
Right? 7 hours and then bugger off.
You don't see many like 57-year-old Australians coming over and doing it.
Oh, no. You gotta move and groove, right?
You gotta be young.
Yeah. And when you're picking like apples, you have this big, huge bag in front of you hanging off your shoulders, and it weighs like pounds, right? It's a lot of apples. It's huge.
Well, it weighs about the same as a sack of apples, I'd imagine.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like I'm 6 foot tall. The bag would be about a little below my sternum and would be down to about my knees. Right?
I don't know where your sternum is.
But you know what I mean? It's a lot of weight, right? They're big. Yeah.
But your sternum. You got big sternums.
God. This is why I don't visit the UK, because I'm scared everybody's like this,
No, everybody else is worse than me.
I'm figuring, especially if they have tartan. You're very proud of yours, so I'm not sure if it's hereditary or cultural.
I'm proud of it. I just wish I could fit in it.
Yeah.
I got it when I was like 21. And at 21, I was kind of like skinny back then, 28-inch waist or something like that.
Yeah.
No, I don't know what I was thinking. No way I was going to be wearing that into my 60s.
Yeah. It's a handkerchief now, right?
Yeah. I managed to squeeze into it, about 15 years ago, maybe. But it's. Now it just does not, the corners don't meet at all now.
Yeah. I noticed my son has the waist I used to have. Now I'm a 34.
Yeah.
I used to have a 32 and I just never used to expand. And now in the last few years, it's not like I can put a plate or even a can of beer resting on my belly when I'm sitting there watching TV, but I could probably balance a Red Bull if I wanted to, a little can,
Well, it's good. It's good to know that if you ever came over here to visit, I've got plenty of spare trousers that will fit you. But they might be up to your ankles though. We're the same diameters, but not necessarily the same lengths.
Yeah, no, Felix and I are of the tall persuasion, that's for sure. I'm just shy of 6'1", and my son stands 6'2".
Yeah, I'm 5'10". Well, I used to be.
His grandma's like 5'4" or something, and he always just puts his arm on her shoulder and stands there. She's like, "Fuck." It's funny.
Yeah, it's like R2-D2 in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
just pop your drink on top of her head.
Yeah, exactly.
You could get one of those like mortar hats, like they wear on like graduation day and something like that, and she could be a pizza stand.
Yeah. That worked great, And she'd love that. Somebody'd spill cocktail sauce. It's funny. Yeah, his birthday's coming up. My son there.
Again?
Yeah.
He had one last year.
Exactly. It's funny how that works, eh?
Jesus.
They expect it once a year, But yeah, he's 18 on the 23rd, so there's some adult time. Take that how you want. But
are you having a military parade through the town That seems to be the thing for everybody's birthdays these days. Oh, I won a military parade.
Yeah. Oh, him and I'll just have a day where we do whatever. And he's having a bash over with mom and grandma with some of that side of the family. And I just recently had a event where I was surrounded by them, and I'm kind of done with that. So we'll have our own thing on the side.
I mean, at 18, you're not going to take him to a bar and introduce him to beer, hookers, and
if we were in Quebec, he could go to the bar at 18, but in the rest of Canada, it's 19.
Who is it?
Yeah. I think in the rest of Canada, I know Montreal's 18, but there might be New Brunswick is 18 or Nova Scotia, but I think most of Canada is 19.
Mind you, I don't know how you know, because you never took any fucking notice of that when you were a kid.
No, I mean, when I was younger, I looked older than I was. So I was able to get served when I was 16, but 17 for sure, almost everywhere I went.
Right.
You know? Just had to be not shaved, right? And that was it.
You were on first name terms with everybody by that time.
Yeah. The only time it didn't work for me was when I was in a band when I was 18. I had to be honest about who I was because we were getting paid, and they were like, "Oh, you're not old enough to be in here, but you're old enough to work. So you can be on stage, but then get the hell out as soon as you're done playing."
Wow.
Yeah. But it was still worth it, so I did, right? I just went and sat in the van for a bit, and then we buggered off. Yeah. The bar brought me a 6-pack so I could have a couple in the van, and, yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. You weren't old enough to drink in the bar, but we'll bring you some.
Yeah, exactly. As long as I don't get caught in there, they didn't care. And it was the 80s, right? It was just a more slack time, right? I remember one time driving home when I was 16 years old, and I had too much to drink. And a police officer caught me and saw on my address that I only lived 5-10 minutes up the road or whatever it was. And he said, "Here, just follow me. We'll get you home, dude."
Yeah.
And there was a big party just not far from where I was. So, he knew I wasn't exactly going to town or anything. I was just trying to get home, We didn't have Uber or anything. It was more out in the country. You couldn't call a cab,
Yeah.
Yeah. Different time, right? Different time, but different attitudes. I mean, right now in life, I wouldn't have 5 beers in 3.5 hours and then get behind the wheel of a car. Right. I mean, it's the same thing. They let it go because everybody kind of did that. Right. And I wasn't wasted, but, I would have blown over,
Yeah, you're
sure.
I've been blown ashore a few times.
Exactly. Yeah. And he could tell as soon as he pulled me over, I smelled like booze,
Yeah. You like that in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the real Vladimir Putin in the chat says before drug tests. So that's the one thing about legalization in Canada that kind of sucks, because if you're somebody like me who's been smoking a bit of grass all their life, and right now I ingest CBD-based stuff with a very low THC content, but quite a bit of CBD in it for fibromyalgia pain management. I could probably blow over on the drug test, but my reactions, if tested, and my ability to drive are not affected at all. And before testing, I would just simply drive my son to school, or not to school because that's first thing in the morning, but you know what I mean, right? And it wouldn't be a problem, right? It wouldn't be a problem. But now with the testing, it could actually be a problem. So, and we're saving up right now to buy a vehicle. That's a thing, because we're going to get moved in a year, and so I got to get driving again. When
they're doing testing, can't you opt for a written test instead?
Yeah. But when that day comes and I'm going to end up having to do a bit of driving around or whatever, just to make sure it's not been ingested this way and it's pure CBD and I know I'll be all right, I'll just get like a tincture with a few drops or a few edible things so that I don't have to worry about skirting the rules that I'm not truly breaking in their honest sense of what they're trying to achieve, right? You know, I just don't want to be going like this all the time when I'm in a car for half an hour. You know, that's all. Yeah. Ah. Um. Ow.
So
Oh, what else do you
your,
think?
your chair,
Yeah. Well.
your chair's
Yeah.
bumming you out.
Yeah. Getting a little itchy spot there.
Oh,
Yeah. It's a reaction to.
crabs.
Yeah. It's a reaction to traction. Yeah. No. I'm having to sit on a pillow to make this chair like worthy of sitting on, and
It's
there's
not
a little
working.
spot sticking up for the lower back support that's actually annoying me at the same time. Go figure, right? I know. Yeah. If you missed it, I had a great hangout with Rick the Ukrainian earlier. That would be worth rewatching later if you're bored. That was a good time.
You got a spare 8 hours.
Yeah, I think the stream goes live and I pop on about 40 minutes into it or something like that. He was late getting going, but
God, that man can stream.
oh yeah. He must have to like I figure he must have saline intravenous to keep him like hydrated and so on.
Oh, I think he's full on like in the Matrix. He plugs in. You know, his entire body is like plumbed into a biosystem. So all of his intakes and excretions can all be dealt with. Biomechanically.
Yeah. It's unbelievable, man. The guy's an absolute machine. I find that if I'm not having a beer, I'm always sipping on a glass of water or something, just chatting as much as we do. I need lubricant, you know?
Yeah, literally just hurts your mouth, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It hurts your throat.
Can't imagine what it would be like to work in Bangkok in the evenings.
Yeah. I can imagine. Doesn't bear thinking about, but I can imagine.
Yeah, like Booker, man, on your feet the whole time, not being able to oh wow, you know. He must have had to really monitor his moisture intake and not go too far. That was crazy.
What Rick needs to understand, you know, there are like, 24-hour rolling news channels, but I don't know if he's noticed they swap they swap the person around. They're not always there on camera for like 8 hours. I mean, you can't even drive a truck for 8 hours, without having to take rests.
Yeah, exactly. It's mandated by law.
Like a pilot of an airplane. I'm sure you can't. It's probably less hours, before you have to like swap over.
Yeah, exactly.
Pilots,
totally. Yeah, he's crazy, man. He can just go. It's unbelievable, But his results in live stream donations to projects and so on are just unbelievable. If you were to do a like a graph or a spreadsheet or something up,
just numbers.
Yeah, and you were to do how many viewers individually he has in 30 days versus how much money he raises, I would say per viewer he gets more than Jake Bro or Georgie from Ukraine Matters combined.
Does Jake? I mean, I'm not sub to Jake Bro. Does he raise money?
Oh, yeah. He went off the rails and in no time at all put $1 million together for fundraising trucks. Just boom, done.
Oh, right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he has definitely stepped into the realms of fundraising. Yeah. Yeah.
It's insane.
I know. Well, speaking of which, speaking of insane, once again, we don't know who it was, but somebody in support of us on our Easter fundraiser with the Car for Ukraine people, somebody dropped in 10,000 in one shot.
Yeah. And that's dollars, not yen or rubles.
Yeah, exactly. So as I have the pleasure of showing you, just give me 1 second to line it up. Our goal is 11,000 euros, and you'll see that we're at 11,034. So we have now paid for a truck. Done. And because we do hashtag boom boom, we're going to do the truck that has the rocket launcher on the back. Right?
What color?
I think it'll be green.
Shills green.
Yeah.
Make sure it stands out in the crowd.
I'll say this, with the camouflage of the trucks, the way they paint them all up with the green and all that, the Shills logo looks cool because it's kind of like if you have a black car and then you put gloss black logos on it, it's got that look a bit. It looks really cool. Yeah. But so
pictures of it.
Yeah, so let me go here. Speaking of which, let me stay on this for a second. So campaigns, let me just go over. Here's the Easter one. And what we're going to do is, because we've got a truck knocked in, oh, wow. We're actually like 30 euros ahead of Mercado Media on this one. But
suck it, Andrew.
Yeah, but we got that with a lucky one huge donation. He will kick our ass by the end of it, right?
Damn
I don't care about all that stuff, though. But if you look here, some of the other people that are involved in this campaign have some smaller donation totals in. So what we're going to do starting tomorrow for the next week or so is every time we upload a video on the 42 channel, which is at TheShills 42, get over and subscribe. We will put somebody else's link as the Car for Ukraine fundraiser. So that way everybody gets more love and support, right? And then after a week, we'll switch back to ours and see if we can't get it up a bit higher. But I mean, we supplied a truck. There'll be one with the Shills logos on it and stuff. That's fine. Let's just, help everybody else. Why not? I don't want it to be competitive or anything, right? The last one we were really low.
Of course it's competitive. It's warfare. What are you talking about? It's got to be competitive.
No, but on the last one, we were really low on the pecking order just because, with our viewers, cash was tight, Trump was coming, uncertainty and stuff. And that's just how it is,
Yeah. Maybe the person who, gave the massive donation was a party to the insider dealings after Trump did that.
It was Mark Taylor Green trying to make up for it.
Yeah, I made shit tons of money. Yeah.
That's funny. Oh, man. Marjorie Taylor Greene. The only woman that can order 5 dildos on Amazon and have 3 of them dislike her before they even come out of the package.
You want me to go inside that?
Not happening, bro. I'm not coming out.
I'm a conscientious objector. Just gets the only rubber device that gets swallowed up and dissolved. Toxic bitch.
That's funny. Oh man. Okay.
Hey, you've been bitching about Brian Tyler Cohen and people like that.
Yeah, I do like him. Don't get me wrong.
No.
Yeah,
But you know, every end of the episode, it's like, oh, buy my book and buy my book.
yeah.
The same with David Patman. No, David Patman put a video out the other day, which is quite interesting because
Is it about his book?
It's about his book. No, it is literally about his book. And but wait, there was a an edict. Someone a whistleblower within inside. He suspects is Amazon sent him an email that was saying a government contract was going to be revoked on Amazon if they didn't get rid of certain books.
No way.
Yeah, and he got sent the list, and his book's on the list. Brian Tyler Cohen's book's on the list. David Patman's book on the list.
This list. Is it something we can get online, or is it just being talked about?
No, he showed like a screenshot of the email, sort of thing. So it's on his video. But it was like half a dozen books that have been independently produced by just people who don't like Trump. You know, there's like another book from some other, someone who does YouTube and commentary, but their book was also on the list, and saying, you've got to remove these listings, otherwise you lose our government contract.
Yeah,
and at this point, the last time I saw his video was like a couple of days ago. But he's saying, I have no idea where this is going to go. I have no clue.
Wow.
But still, the fact that could be happening was quite staggering.
If you look at the polling numbers for Trump and assume that they are somewhat similar to how America and a lot of other people in other countries feel about this hard right thing and whatnot, if it comes to light that is actually the case, there is a massive gap in the market that anybody could fill if they can do it quickly, because there will be an exodus on Amazon.
Yeah, I was trying to wonder what, if you were listening to a book, because everyone's just used to like, just stick it on Amazon. There's got to be other places you could list it. I mean, obviously you could put the PDF out for free, but they're not going to do that. David Patman did say, hint that, maybe it's a good time to go buy my book now.
Yeah.
Before it's taken off the list. So, maybe he was playing that.
I'm gonna do a thing. I'm gonna get ChatGPT to write me a whole bunch of garbage, and the title's gonna be 101 times that Donald Trump gave me a Hummer, described in detail. And I'm gonna see if I can get that on Amazon as fast as possible. If anybody wants to play, just do a thing from an AI and do a quick little blurb on a time that Donald Trump gave you a Hummer and send it to me on Discord, and I'll put it in the book.
Do you remember there was a time there was like a website that had a whole load of Star Trek homosexual fantasy relationships between Spock and Kirk, and there was people just like publishing this stuff on this website, and it's like fan. There's a special name for it. It's not just fan fiction, but there's a special name for it. Get ChatGPT to write a book about Donald Trump's love affair with Putin, and the other political leaders of the world. Just all having orgy gay sex, and put that out.
That would be an awesome idea. So this is what's coming from us soon. We are going to veer hard to our new direction.
What about a book about when Donald Trump transitions to a human being?
So this is far into the future then.
Little Donald, he went to school one day as Donald, came back, transitioned into a human being.
Yeah. I went far into the future. Okay, it was a big one. We went far into the future because that's like, time travel, right? It's big, Oh,
I saw, I
man.
saw, I saw something else doing this thing the other day, and it was just like a. It's like a, I'm going to show you a clip about Elon Musk, and he showed you that meme of the little kid who's just going there. When they and they could, and they sort of, and they wanted, and they
Yeah.
I don't know where that clip comes from, but it's genius. And he goes, "Oh no, wrong clip," and then he goes to the Elon Musk one, and he's just like, he's just bumbling out the same sort of shit.
Yeah. Just pudgier,
It was like one of the most single greatest use of memes clips I've seen in a long time.
There's a recent thing from Elon's daughter, I think it was.
Oh yeah, well the one that he denies exists anymore.
Yeah, just chewing them apart. That was awesome.
Oh,
but
God.
sorry, dude, we know it's true. So screw you, dude. The guy's the richest dude in the world. She should want for nothing, the whole 9 yards. But we don't agree on everything, so you're dead to me. Like a great parenting there, Elon, you complete schmuck.
Just transition. That sort of like mentality of mum, dad, I'm gay, right? Leave my house.
Exactly.
I don't understand how you can be like shocked. You can be, I suppose you can be disappointed in some ways, but just to shun them.
Mm-hmm. I know.
I can't imagine being that kind of person.
If you're a real ignorant prick and you have a child that, transitions, changes, this and that, comes out, whatever, that, there's lots of different ways I could say this.
Just becoming an barman. What? Right. I want you to be a writer.
Yeah. But sure, it might be difficult for you at first because you're an ignorant prick who was brought up by redneck fucks or something. And, I don't know what your thing is, but how could that singular bond of love between parent and child not overcome that to the point where it just takes you a little bit to get used to it? And then everybody can move on fine.
Yeah.
There are so many stories of parents that were exactly that person that found out that they actually weren't that person at a core. It was just things that had been taught to them since day one. And it was overcomable. I can't understand it. I can't understand it.
Yeah, you do hear an awful lot of stories about, parents who, lose contact with their children over whatever matter. It could be anything.
Yeah.
And then it takes years to just like get back in touch. And
yeah. Unbelievable, man.
Break bread and shit.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But I'm not that kind of git, so I wouldn't know.
No. I had a few years of absolute hellion behavior and so on, and like absolutely crazy. I'm not going to get into it, but yeah. And my folks were always, they'd be not happy, but it was fine.
Always a reminder that that sketch
support,
from that Monty Python sketch. You got the Northern Blake, but he's a writer, and his son comes in. Eric Idle comes in. Says, I want to be a coal miner, father. What writing isn't good enough for you? Your mother has had more gala dinners than you've had hot dinners.
I don't know this one. Strangely, yeah.
I should have to send it to you.
I have the Flying Circus in my library. I've got all the lives and stuff, the whole bit.
I'll find the clip and send it to you. It's a good one. I'm sure when you see it, you'll go,
yeah. Okay, let me refresh one more time here, and that should probably get me through until closing time.
Yeah, hit F5. Refresh. He's gone to put a bit of links on. Psh, psh. It's smelly. And to refresh a little bit. He's gone to powder his nose.
Yeah. You know, I sing that song every time we're done a stream. I sing it to Dunk. I say, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
No, you don't. You lie. You say, all right, I'm off. You fuck off.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It's usually like, holy fuck, I got to get back to life, dude. See you soon.
Yeah. My world is crashing around me. Yeah. Get back to reality.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's like you know, coming out of a Tron, shunk out the machine.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to reality again, rematerialize into the real world.
Matt says, sing I'm alone. I'm all alone from Shrek. I don't know that one. Felix loves the Shrek movies, so I'll figure it out and I'll give you a line next time, Matt.
I'm so away.
I'm pretty sure that's not quite right.
No. South Park.
Hmm.
No.
Yeah.
No, not South Park. That was shit. What was it? Team America.
Yeah. Same guys, but yeah.
Close.
Yeah.
Close word. Close.
How about I sing a Billy Squires song in Shrek's voice? You know, I could sing The Stroke by Shrek.
You do Shrek's voice?
No,
Shrek's voice.
Actually, I the only way I can mimic a voice is if I've done it, like, you know, and I don't usually do Shrek lines, so I wouldn't be able to do a very good job of it.
Isn't Shrek's voice a little bit Glaswegian?
Well, it's a Canadian pretending to be. Yeah.
Well, Mike Myers is. Well, he spent a lot of time in Britain, and he's very good at his Scottish accents. But I think that's what it is, isn't it? Shrek.
Well, Mike Myers traditionally is very good just at impersonations and stuff, right? He's very good at doing characters well, you know?
Yeah.
He did Coffee Talk there, you know, on Saturday Night Live when he was around that crew. He did some really good characters. That was excellent. Yeah, Duncan Stewart, Billy Squire. I love that guy, man. I'm a big fan. Big fan. Actually, we had a band that did Billy Squire songs come through my area, like, I don't know, 8 years ago, and they were playing with, I think,
a cover band.
Yeah, but they were playing with like Platinum Blonde and one other 80s Canadian band, Glass Tiger maybe or something.
I thought you were going to say they were playing with vegetables made out of vegetables.
Then they played at an outdoor venue, and we were there. And the Billy Squire tribute band were by far the best. They played the song so perfectly. It was awesome. Dude sounded exactly like him. Oh, it was brilliant. They were great. Yeah, really good. Yeah. Billy Squire was that, like, right in the early days when MTV was coming out, you know, before it became all like 80s glam metal or new wave, when they still weren't really sure where it was going. Yeah, that was good times.
Good old MTV.
I remember.
I want my MTV.
There's a classic interview moment of early MTV with one of the original VJ dudes with David Bowie.
Oh, yeah.
And Bowie says to him, but you know what I want to know is, why is there no like black faces on MTV? Why is there no black music? Right?
When we say black faces, we don't mean people black facing.
Yeah. And the DJ, the VJ guy says, well, you know, we're doing TV for people in LA and New York, but at the same time, we can't put somebody on television that would scare mom and pa kettle out in the suburbs or whatever somewhere. And David Bowie just looks at him and goes, interesting. Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah, because there are no
Yeah.
black people in
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
those regions that you just mentioned in New
When-
York. What did you say? What did you say? Was like California?
In New York, everybody knows
Yeah.
that there's no black people in New York at all.
not a single one.
Yeah.
They're all white fellas pretending.
Yeah, exactly. You know, MTV famously pretty much resisted black music entirely until Michael Jackson was such a big artist that the label that Michael Jackson was with, I can't remember who it was right now. It might have been CBS or somebody. I can't remember. But they literally said, we'll pull all of our artists out of MTV if you don't freaking play Michael Jackson. And as soon as they did, boom. Right?
Yeah, but they only started playing Michael Jackson when he just came to the right shade.
Yeah. No, because they jumped on early, not early, but MTV wasn't that old when they were forced to, get into the thing, right?
It's like his Thriller days when he was still like properly black, when the Thriller and Billie Jean and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't want to get too into that, but yeah, there is that, that whole thing.
Well, I mean, that was just an odd choice by Michael to do that. And I'm not going to get into it either. There's probably reasons and stuff, but
there's a whole condition and whatnot, and all kinds of things going on. But he was a, let's just say, interesting character, and
leave it like that.
Yeah. If you look at him as a person,
it's Dick's biographical book of Michael Jackson. Page 1, an interesting character.
Yeah.
Page 2, the end.
Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, you look at him not from Thriller, but the album before. I think it's called Off the Wall.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at him in the videos for that, and then you look at him for the video for Black or White, or one of the later things.
Ironically,
you're hard pressed to know it was the same person if you had no idea who you were talking about.
Well, there was so much plastic surgery and shit going on.
Yeah, he really did all of that, right? But who am I to judge?
It was Michael Jackson. He was.
He's Michael Jackson. I mean, he's Michael Jackson.
He was just a man living in his own reality. Different reality to everybody else.
A man, his monkey, and a blanket,
and several $1 million.
Oh, yeah,
quite a few.
Yeah, so many millions that he owned the Beatles. Paul McCartney's still alive. Yeah, Paul McCartney's still alive, but Michael Jackson owns the Beatles.
Yeah. He probably shot John Lennon as well.
Yeah.
But from the grassy knoll.
Yeah. Yeah, if I remember correctly, Mexi Girl was talking, the album before Thriller. Yeah, Off the Wall. The thing that broke it was there was a performance of Michael Jackson when he first did the moonwalk. And it was one of those TV shows that might have been filmed live at the Apollo or something similar. And that was the point where people couldn't understand, how can Michael Jackson not be on MTV when every kid literally just lost their shit watching that performance,
It's funny though, because that moonwalking thing, that wasn't new. It had been around for years. There's like vintage.
But the way
videos of people doing it, but just Michael just like caught the imagination.
Yeah, well, he only did it for like 4 steps, but it was the way he just slipped it in and pulled out of it and went to something else. Like, he didn't focus on it and drive it down your throat as if it was my big trick. It was just one of the moves, right?
Yeah.
And that's what made it so cool, right?
Like clutching your crotch and going, ow!
Oh man, once he touched that shit, he couldn't stop,
And it wasn't just his.
Yeah, it's like he was scared somebody was gonna rip it off. Just holding on for dear life.
I don't know. It must have been worth a few quid.
Probably insured by Lloyd's.
Yeah. Yeah, the ring a bell when his penis sank.
Yeah.
Ding ding.
Oh, that reminds me of when that whole wearing your pants like below your ass if you were a true hip hopper got so bad that you'd see guys walking down the street and they were literally holding on to their pants so they wouldn't slide any lower. It's like, seriously, man,
Yeah, but that's me going down to the supermarket because my belt isn't tight enough.
That's me trying to unclog the sink when it starts acting up.
Yeah, I've done this because I do have this problem. Sometimes I just go out. I haven't got my belt on tight enough. I'm like, okay, I'm wearing a 34 waist, but what I really need is like elasticated ones.
Yeah.
I'm literally
before supper, and then there's expanded after, right?
But there are moments where I've come out the supermarket, and I'm walking to the car and I've got like 2 shopping bags and I can literally feel my trousers starting to slip.
Flipping, yeah.
And you do that weird thing where you kind of like spread your legs out.
Yeah, you walk like you're about to give out a turd and you just don't know who the lucky winner is, right?
Because you have this like fake illusion that doing that stance just gives you a few
stick your ass out like Elvis in the later years, right? Just to kind of hold the belt up for dear life,
See, I could have been a hip hop artist. just shit hips and not so much hop.
Oh, that's funny. That was hilarious.
Yeah. I'd have been surrounded by hot babes and fast cars. Just with me trousers around my ankles.
Yeah. That's funny as hell. But yeah, that's funny. Everybody's been there, right? Or you do the exact same maneuver if you're getting out of the lake and you realize your shorts weren't quite tied up enough. That's the exact same thing you go through, right?
Oh, I haven't crawled out of a lake since that last court appearance.
Yeah. Since that last time,
I'm not allowed to do that anymore.
Yeah, since that last time I had the Loch Ness Monster suit on.
Oh yeah, that's so funny. We PJ keeps posting these stories about the Loch Ness Monster, new sightings and stuff, and it's just like, there was a thing in the water, and this time it blew, but it farted. It farted in the water. It's
look at it! Look at it! It's right there. Oh, that's a coffee cup.
The thing is, I can't take any of these Loch Ness Monster sightings seriously in any way, shape, or form, because
it was about that time I noticed
they're kind of like nothing. There's nothing to be said. It's just a thing in the water.
Yeah. But if we were to cobble together 5 or 6 of those little things and we had the different pictures to go with it, you could make one article about the desperation of one town for tourism and the profits that can be had.
Yeah. I mean, if someone had got an image of the Loch Ness Monster, it's just not like it's a big wave or it's a bit of a humpy thing. If the fucking thing stuck its head out the water, like it did in the Fate images back in the day,
some lasagna.
Yeah. Now that if someone took an image of that,
I'm gonna need about 350.
I could start to take it a bit more seriously. But when it's just like, it could be a seal, or it could be anything. It could be a porpoise, without a fin. I don't know.
No, that's just the drunk guy who runs the boat rental place.
So funny.
Oh, that's gonna work. Oh. Oh yeah, one more of those and I'll be good for a bit. All right.
Look at
Yeah,
the face.
yeah. It's surprising when you're at my age what your lung can take.
What's your other one doing these days?
I still can't find it. I took it out for cleaning. I don't know. Fuck. Yeah.
It's now working as a session musician for Warner Brothers.
I think I left it in the back of my neighbor's car and it's being used as a diaper bag. No. Oh, you know what I keep forgetting to do? Remind me. I gotta dial down the light that's in that globe. It needs to be just a little dimmer.
Yeah. Okay, I'll remind you about the important issues in life. Don't worry about it.
It is. It's bugging me. Every time I see myself on camera, my eyes just go directly to the globe. It's not balanced anymore. It's a little too bright. You know?
Poke your eye out then. Yeah, problem solved.
I can't. I'm wearing glasses. See, I have a defense mechanism built in now. Yeah. Yeah. Eyeglasses. They're not just for bukkake protection anymore. Is that how you say that word? Is that how you say that?
I don't know. I've never been in a room where
I've only ever seen it in text. I don't know how to actually say it. No. Yeah. I haven't taken a vacation to the Orient in any recent times. So
you go into the bukkake festival and everyone's laughing at you saying, "Yeah, you say it wrong."
Yeah. You go to the bukkake festival, but you think you're signing up for Tashiki's Castle or whatever that game show is. It's like, what the hell happened, man?
Yeah, I thought it was some kind of Japanese dish, like sushi.
These aren't the balls I thought were going to be rolling towards me, you know?
So this bukkake, does it come with rice and salmon and
yeah, and they it's delivered in 15 minutes or free. So what MDAL was asking, what have I got in the aquarium, the little tank behind me? We crawfish, because I'm a southerner at heart. That's my supper. No, it's hard to see because they're just small, but there's a little school of neon tetras, and then there's a little sucker guy, auto sync, whatever, they tiny little sucker guys. And we just lost the snail, so I've got to get a new snail. And for the last while, I've been trying to get cherry shrimp as the rest of the cleanup crew. All of the plants, except for that obviously fake one in front there, are real. And they have a really good balanced ecosystem. It's really good.
Yeah, you should go and check out their YouTube channel because they've got their own channel.
Yeah.
24/7 stream.
Yeah, it's funny too because they're the ones that get out and do the housework. So it's an interesting stream. But my son's tank upstairs is the same, but it's a 20-gallon. It's well planted with 3 different types of plants. And he's got a beta fish that is the trophy fish, and then some shrimp, a couple of snails, and a few little sucker guys. And it's a great little system. Works awesome. Yeah. Yeah, he's an algae eater, but he's not like one of those plecos that gets super big. He only gets the little sucker that I got in there. He literally only gets about 1.5 inches long, 2 inches tops or whatever.
How he feels.
Yeah, I don't see him much. He only comes out at night, but the tank's clean, so seems to be doing his job.
Oh, he comes out at night. Mostly.
Yeah. And we have a rotation of all kinds of really good food. I don't just feed them flakes. I feed them really good stuff. So they're very healthy and look nice. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Felix's tank upstairs. I'll have to take a picture and share it with you guys. It's really, really nice. It's just this lovely in or underwater garden that this betta fish lives in. It's great. He's got some caves to go in, this big, huge piece of driftwood and all these plants and stuff. Awesome.
Sounds nice. Do you do Airbnb bookings for that? It sounds like a nice place to go for a holiday.
Yeah. I highly recommend a nice aquarium if your child or grandchild or whatever might be on the autism spectrum. It's very calming. It's an excellent thing to have.
You never notice that you see them a lot in like doctors' surgeries. Doctors love to have an aquarium in their surgeries. Yeah. No coincidence.
No, exactly. Right? Exactly. You know, there's a reason for this. And if you do the biosystem, the whole balance of nature properly with the plants and everything, I mean, to those that know, you already know what I'm going to say, but the fish's waste gives off ammonia and that gets turned into nitrites and then nitrates or whatever. And that becomes food for the plants. And then the plants give off oxygen. And if you got your cleanup crew and if you've got your whole thing balanced with proper filtration and so on, you rarely need to do much to an aquarium. If you do it properly, it pretty much takes care of itself. Just don't fucking overfeed them.
It's like those folks who have like little biosphere, you know, just like plants inside like a big jar. And
I love those. I love ecospheres. I watch a few of those channels. Yeah.
Quite amazing.
My son and I have done that as well because we're surrounded by lakes here. We're in a valley with a beach and a lake on either side of town. It's really cool, and we've done ecospheres. It's very fun. Yeah. But this one, I will say, I screwed up. I thought it was just going to be for on screen. I didn't put anywhere near enough like soil in the gravel for the plants. And Vallisneria, the plant that I have there growing, is the only one that'll really grow in this tank. So in the very near future, everybody's coming out. I'm going to get a 15 or a 20 set up for behind me instead. And I'm going to do it properly so I can have a better planted system. I did that for my sons. It's really well built. And you can see for this one, I used a bit of that clown puke gravel black with the colors, and I hate it. It's got to go.
I thought you were going to say you introduced chemtrails into it.
I put little drones that go through and just, you know.
It'd be great if you could like introduce a flat earther fish. Just come in there. Water finds its own level.
Yeah.
There's no curvature in it.
Yeah. That'd be hilarious, man.
Hey, talking of which, I got to give the conspiracist the shout out because he put out the first part of his film, which is like a documentary drama type thing of Brian Kirby and his day as a flat earther talking to people and just about his nonsense. And but the very, very, very last scene of it like shocked me. It was like, wow, you just took, you know, what I thought it was going to be, you know, typical sort of like flat earth stuff. Yeah. But then you just, in the last scene, he just goes, oh, you just fucking elevated it to, you know, level 10. You just did an amazing job on that. Yeah, it's worth checking out. It's the sort of thing now, the way he's done it, if you put it out on the like BBC television, as a show, it's like a, you know, Ricky Gervais, you know, show, you know, like he's done before. You know, this is kind of like drama type things, but comedy. It'd work. It would work with the general public. I think I was kind of like taken back by it a little bit, you know, watching it, you know, being like a anti-flat earth and stuff like that. You go, oh yeah, it's the same old tropes. Oh yeah, I get it. Yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
But it's actually done really well. There's a little bit of it's really subtle and really clever.
Speaking of which, I want to run something past you here. There was some question and answer period with Rick earlier, and we were talking about early Shills days. How did I meet you? How did the Shills start?
Yeah.
And all that crap, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. There was a really decent response to the idea of us doing a little show video pause debunk thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't want to focus on one topic for an entire 2-hour live stream, but we could take a thing from different areas of stupidity and put it into an evening of right.
You could put it into an after show or a pub chat just as a section of the show.
Exactly. You know, we could do a once a month pub chat where people send in videos that just have to be pause, debunk, press play. But they can't be 25-minute videos because that would take us 4 fucking hours, right?
Yeah.
You know, if there's a specific 3 minutes, that would be awesome. Clip it for us, right?
It would be good to have like decent debunkers back on the show again, because it would just be you and me looking at it and going, yeah, that's stupid. You know, but I don't know if I could be bothered to, you know, articulate a decent response anymore.
But think about it this way. We could invite Starsky and Georgie over for a disinformation debunking session. We could invite, now you see where I'm going, right? You know, there's quite a few people that we could, you know, have a night of fun with doing this, right? Different areas, different topics, different folks, you know. But that would be pretty fun. We should think about that. You know, there might be an idea there. I don't know if it's an extra show. I think it has to be squeezed in because,
I know. We're tight.
You know, because Rick pointed that out. He was like, so you do the 42 show 3 times a week, but it gets uploaded daily. And then you have 2 pub chats, plus you have the UA show. Annette does Beyond the Headlines. And he was like, that's a lot of shows. And I'm thinking to myself, Rick's saying this to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
of
Rick,
all people to
he's
call
online
us
24
out for having a lot of content.
He's on 24/7, you know.
Yeah.
But he also got it wrong.
Yeah.
He sort of said, oh, so you got 5 shows. I was thinking, no, not really. we got that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. 10.
Yeah.
And that's it, not including the cutting up 42 recordings into separate shows.
Yeah. You know what I did? It was funny too. When I joined Rick's show, I piped myself through VD or OBS onto his show so I could do the goat and stuff. Yeah, I had a blast doing that in the background a few times. That was funny. But I thought it was appropriate to bring a few Shills gags and stuff over just to, you know, lay that flavor out a bit, you know?
Yeah. Like I said before, I think he enjoyed your
it seemed to. You know, we always had a great time hanging out, Rick and I, you know? We have a history of having a really good time together, and it's just been too long, really, you know? Which sucks.
Well, I mean, like you were saying on the show, it's like, you know, you got to jump into some Felix time, and then if you're going to do that, you got to do that. Well, then maybe it means the pub chat won't going to happen, and you know, there are so many things you got to, you know, you're spinning fucking plates all the time.
Oh, exactly. You know, it's not always easy for sure.
No.
You know, but I do try my best to keep myself in the mix, right? What do we got here? Oh, we're 5 minutes from 2 hours.
Oh, countdown.
Yeah, well, wow.
Right, Scooby.
I used to know somebody way back in the day in the early 80s that used to do that when he was all wasted.
And it wasn't even a Scooby-Doo reference. It was just him being basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it just came naturally, you know.
Same as Scooby.
But with Felix's birthday coming up, I can't just casually order a $40 takeout for him or whatever. I have to be frugal to make sure that I can, make it nice for him, right? So yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. You know, when is it?
The 23rd of this month.
I'm sure. I'm sure our lovely community and maybe Mr. Moneybags himself can throw you a few shekels to make his day a little bit special.
Well, we're yeah.
All right, shut up. All right, Mr. Community, I'm talking to the community, and I'm going to be doing this and then all the other shows from now on. If you're feeling, it's not for Dick, it's for Felix. Just put it in the chat. Make a little donation. We got the link and everything. Give a direct donation and say, for the Felix birthday fund. Just you know what to do. You don't need me to tell you. It's not going to Ukraine. It's not the boom boom fund or anything. It's the Felix fund. So so we can Dick can. I mean, if you are going to get a takeaway, you'd have to make it special. You can't go like, it's pizza again.
Yeah. Well, for him, I'd have to go to the Mexican place and give him something, right?
Is that what that would be his birthday choice?
Yeah, just like Mexi girl in the chat there just sent him up a little care package for his birthday. He loves Mexico and all things Mexico, so she sent him up a few of them.
A wall.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's got a collection of stuff going on, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, she sent him a wall. Just went straight over your fucking head.
No, I had to mute and burp there for a pause too. But yeah. Is she going to pay for it? I guess then, because she's in Mexico, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an expanding wall, but it only gets.
She'll send him a little mariachi band or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that was one of the stories. That was one of the stories that came up in our 42 news links. The story itself, the story itself wasn't much of a story, but it was about some guy who was stealing stuff from Walmarts and places like that. But what he was doing, he was basically buying like a big outdoor plastic bin thing, buying that. But filling it on the way around, and then just like going through the till and buying the bin. Now that was the story. But the best part of the story is his name was Speedy Gonzalez.
That's awesome.
That was the best part of the story.
That's too funny.
Just wasn't long enough to do for a 42 shows story, but that little bit was just great.
Yeah, that's too funny, man. Oh, I love it. Oh, hey, all your pandering and whatnot actually produced results.
There you go.
We got ATV and ham. Oh, that's funny. $10 direct donation straight in there through Ko-fi. Balloons for birthday boy. Oh, thanks, ham. Thanks very much. Awesome.
Yeah, that will get him the nuggets. Let's try and get him some fries now.
Yeah, it was ham that hooked Felix up with the video
cameras.
He's got the action cam and the vlogger cam, and the vlogger cam especially is getting a lot of usage, but I can't get him to publish anything he's edited in iMovie yet. I'm trying. We'll get there. One thing that we're putting on the list for his birthday is he wants a okay microphone so he can narrate like dad. So, and he
must have a few kicking around.
Well, the last spare one that I had beside the one that I have to really keep, and I don't want it to be used just because then it's not a spare, right? So I want to get him his own, but he won't sit and use mine or do anything here. It's not going to happen. So, better to get him his own.
Needs his own space.
Yeah. And he's got a wicked computer set up. It's really nice. So he's got a Mac Mini with the upgraded processor and RAM and storage, and a really nice, slightly curved 29-inch screen or whatever on a monitor arm, and Edifier bookshelf speakers. Oh, it's a great setup. It's absolutely killer. Oh, you do a lot. You do a lot, buddy. You do a lot. That's
yeah. Thanks, UTV.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
Very much. Let's see here. We should end on a high note. I'm sure he grabbed a hold of everything he had for that one. Get a mitt full, even if you have to squeeze for it.
Yeah. Who do you think I am, Trump? Grabbing the pussy.
No, I prefer the green to the orange. It's just a little bit more welcoming, not so threatening.
Hang on, I'll have to see if I can do something about that.
I don't want to see an orange Yoda. That would be a little bit too much like Freshly Born, you know? Oh, hey, wait a minute, helium. Hell, I even have a helium button.
Oh, look at this. I think Dump needs to go to a hospital. He's not looking well.
Oh,
Nope.
You know what? When you rotate it quickly, you look like one of the alien creatures that were threatening people in Space 1999.
Yeah, I'm now in a 70s disco.
Hey, man, can you get me Aaron Gray's autograph?
I can do better than that. I'll get you a knickers. Yeah. Oh, Steam Deck. UTV and Ham there. Do you mean the gaming one or the streaming one? Steam Deck. Stream Deck. Okay, yeah, he means the gaming one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Whenever I see that, I get
a Nintendo Wii if you can.
Oh, wow.
Oh, not a Nintendo Wii. No, what do you call it? The Switch.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. You know, it's funny though. It took the PC industry a while, but after the Switch really took off, we started getting some really good Linux and Windows based handhelds that are damn good machines. You know, they're not the best gaming experience in the world, but they keep up with consoles, no problem. You know?
What you mean? Like the Steam Deck?
Yeah, exactly. And some other ones that are very similar, right? You know, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, he corrected there. He says stream, not game. Yeah. There's 4 models of Stream Deck now. There's the little 6-button one. There's an 8-button one that's a little bit more stylish, and it has like some kind of little clock screen on it or something. Then there's the 15-button one, and then there's that monstrous one. I, as a streamer, and we do some pretty complicated setups, I've been using the 15-button one for a while, but I have been saying in the last like 5-6 months, it's getting a little bit too foldery and complicated, and the bigger one might be a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know, or with the Stream Deck software, you can have 2 15s. So you could buy 2 used 15s, which might be a better layout, but I have a strict belief if you're doing this live, your Stream Deck has to be on the left if you don't know what I'm talking about, Stream Deck, it's this thing with the buttons that I use to control everything we do live. And
I thought you were going to explain what left and right was.
yeah. And the little buttons are little screens, VGA screens. So I can put anything, text and picture on. You can trigger things to go and then stop and then change to something else. And there's all kinds of advanced features to it. It's a great tool. But your Stream Deck should always be on the left if you're right-handed, because your mouse is in your right hand and you need your mouse to switch to different windows. And if you had two Stream Decks, that doesn't work. So if you need more than 15 buttons, the bigger one's the way to go. Don't go with two. And Stream Deck also have one that has like 8 buttons, but a few dials. I don't believe in that one very much. Because you can get like a proper little MIDI mixer and so on that are far more useful than just having a couple of dials, right? I have 8 strips on a MIDI channel mixer, and each one has 3 dials, 2 buttons, and a fader for volume. It's far superior, and it was $100. You know, here, I could hold that up and show you too. It's just a cheap little thing called the Akai MIDI Mix. And, oh, God, I'm running out of, there, you can see it there. I'm running out of USB cable room. It's as long as I got. So, but you get the idea. You know, very handy.
You done doing the advert now?
Yeah. If you want to learn more, get a hold of me. I'll charge you by the hour for some real lessons on how to do this. And
yeah, tonight's stream is sponsored by Akai and Stream Deck. Yeah, thank you very much.
So yeah, we got to go because I got to get things warming up and stuff and get some supper time ready and get to some parenting around here and such. So yeah.
Wow, there's no point going to consumer advice because you just done it.
Yeah. Oh, I even got another item with mixers and dials and stuff. That's not even all of it. There's more than that. Let's see here. If you have to go to Thanksgiving supper and you're mostly surrounded by your in-laws, sit beside the oldest person and you can and fart with everything you have and just blame it on them.
I was going to say, if you're looking forward to Easter for the big Easter egg hunts, good luck with that because you're all going to be hunting eggs in the United States.
Yeah.
A rarity.
Easter, that's the killing of, or no, that's the I'm not quite dead celebration. So
yeah. Let's hang him. Oh, he's not. He's got better.
Yeah. Happy Zombie Day, everybody.
And then he buggered off.
Sorry, I know, but it just seems to be about rabbits having eggs.
Yeah, rabbits laying eggs everywhere.
Yeah, because that's a thing.
Yep. It is now.
Yeah. Wait, if you find that the Easter Bunny has left you brown eggs on Easter, you should wipe that off because it's probably not consumable.
Oh, excuse me, I'm burping.
Poopy eggs are not what you want. They came, Mom, they came from his bum.
PJ says, Dunk, quick, keep him talking, change the subject.